So guess what's in Alex Cox's autopsy report? And they're saying it was a pulmonary embolism. Go figure. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Him complaining shortness of breath, because you will have that, where he was having trouble breathing. But the foaming at the mouth and him going to the bathroom, I mean, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I believe it. Unless if there was something, what about this? If there was some kind of poison that one of the symptoms is a pulmonary embolism. So maybe that malachite, with that poisoning maybe cause a pulmonary embolism. I don't know, I'm just having trouble believing that it was just a coincidence that he died the day after Tammy's body was exhumed. And I'm afraid that when we get Tammy's autopsy report back, it's going to be the same type of thing where it's going to be something natural. But there's other things I feel like that could cause these natural things. Like there's other things that maybe could have been given to Alex to cause the pulmonary embolism, right? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know, you guys. I'm shocked. I had heard that though. I heard that like what, months ago or something, or weeks ago, where somebody was saying that. Did the family know ahead of time or something? Because wasn't Melanie or... No, Melanie said asthma. I swear somebody had said pulmonary embolism though. But like weeks ago or like a month or so ago. I don't know. I just wanted to tell you guys that. I don't know if you guys want me to read it to you. I'll just read you the summary real quick. According to the investigative history as available to me and that provided by the detectives at the time of the examination, the descendant was reportedly complaining of chest pain and shortness of breath for approximately 1 week prior to being found unresponsive on his bathroom floor on 12/12/2019. He was transported to a local hospital where death was pronounced shortly after arrival. According to his wife, the descendant had no past medical history and was not taking any routine medications. The descendant's wife reported the descendant had complaints of burning in his chest and shortness of breath since Friday, 12/6/2019. Law enforcement also relayed they have an open investigation involving the descendant. Based on autopsy findings and investigative history as available to me, it is my opinion that Alexander Lamar Cox, a 51-year-old male, died as a result of bilateral pulmonary thromboemboli with contributory factor of atherosclerotic and hypertensive cardiovascular disease. The manner of death is natural. As with all death investigations, opinions expressed herein are amenable to change should new, reliable, and pertinent information come to light. I mean, it looks like, unless if something else comes to light, that's what it is. I'm going to include the rest of the report for you guys here when I'm done talking, and then you guys can look at it if you guys want to read the whole thing. So, I've actually had 2 pulmonary embolisms in my life, so I could kind of relate to this. So yeah, you do get shortness of breath. I could see the burning in his chest. I had this unbearable pain in my chest. The first one that I had was probably because I had no idea even what it was. I was so confused, but it was one of the worst pains I have ever felt. And I remember I was in Colorado and I'm sitting there and I thought it was heartburn. I didn't even know. I didn't know what to think. It was really bad pain, but I'm thinking because where it was, I was like, is it heartburn? Randy went out and got me some Tums. It was like late at night though. It was like at 2 in the morning. It was like, it woke me up from my sleep. It was so bad. And so I thought, well, it's right there. Maybe it's like really, really bad heartburn, because in high school I actually went to the hospital thinking I was having a heart attack and it was just really bad heartburn. So I'm thinking, okay, but this was way worse this time. So he got me some stuff for heartburn, and it just kept coming in waves. Like it would ease up a little bit for like 10 minutes and then it would come back really strong, and it was horrible. And silly me, I didn't have health insurance, so I just let it go for a while actually. This was in December, okay? So I was coming home for Christmas in Ohio. So what had happened is I didn't want to go to the hospital because I didn't have insurance. So I sat there and I just dealt with the pain. I mean, somehow I got lucked out. I mean, that I'm still alive here. So I sat there, and this was like a couple weeks before I was going home to Ohio for Christmas. So I just sat there, and it slowly got a little bit better. I mean, it was still painful every day, but it slowly, like after a week, it was starting to get a little bit more bearable. So I just kept letting it go. So I told my parents, like on the phone, they're like, oh, maybe it's a pulled muscle, or I was clueless. It's like, it's a heartburn, and after it didn't go away for days, I knew it can't be heartburn. So then I'm like, is it some kind of really bad pulled muscle, or is it something more serious? I was scared, but then as it slowly kind of got a little bit better, I come home, because it was on my left side. So I come home for Christmas, right? I'm here for a couple days, and all of a sudden, I'm laying in bed, and on my right side, pain so bad it wakes me up from a dead sleep. I wake up, and I was at my parents' house. I was at home. So I went and got my mom. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, will you come lay with me? I had her come lay with me because it hurt so bad, and it was, on the opposite side. I was kind of scared because this side wasn't as bad anymore, but now it was on the opposite side. So anyway, the next day, my mom's like, maybe you should go to the hospital. I'm like, I don't know. So I had a fever. I ended up having a fever. We took my temperature, so I had a fever. And I said, okay, let me wait one more day and see if it goes away. Didn't go away the next day. So finally, my mom's like, let's go. We're going to the stat care. So we go, and he takes x-rays, and like pulmonary embolism shows up. It looks like it's the same as pneumonia would look on an x-ray. So, because I thought it was just some kind of pulled muscle or something, just like really bad one, But anyway, so he takes the x-ray, and he does this other blood test, and he's like, well, he said, I'm going to give you an order. You need to go to the hospital because I think it could be a blood clot. I'm not sure, but I think it can be because this blood test thing came up positive, and the x-ray, he couldn't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference between pneumonia or blood clots. So he said, just go to the hospital and tell them you need to get a CAT scan because I think you might have a blood clot. So anyway, I'm sitting there at the hospital and just in so much pain. My heart rate is like, I think it was at 140. It was like really high. And the one doctor was like, why is your heart rate so high? I'm freaking out because this other doctor at Stat Care said I might have a blood clot. And I'm just thinking about stories I heard about blood clots and it going to your brain and you dying. And I don't know. I wasn't really familiar with blood clots. It's just some stories that I heard where the blood clot like released and went to the heart or the brain, and they just died instantly. So that was just in my head, and I'm freaking out. Plus blood clots, I guess, the pulmonary embolisms can make your heart rate go up too. So anyway, I'm sitting there. They ended up giving me a shot of Dilaudid for the pain. They do the CAT scan, and they come back and they're like, okay, well, so no. First of all, they did this test. They did some test. What did they do? They take another x-ray or something? Or they looked at the x-rays? I think they did. They took another x-ray while they were waiting for me to get the CAT scan. And then I did get a CAT scan, but then they're waiting for the results. But here, by the x-ray, the doctor comes in and was like, yep, you just have pneumonia. So they started me on these antibiotics for pneumonia while they were waiting for the CAT scan results. And then they come in and they say, nope, actually you do. You have blood clots. The CAT scan shows you have blood clots on both sides of my lungs. So the one side was from the weeks prior in Colorado. That pain I had was on one side. And then when I come here to Ohio and I'm sitting there and had that pain on the right side, that was the second one. So I had two different pulmonary embolisms 2 weeks apart. Plus, 2 years later, I have another one. So actually, I guess I really had three. But so the first two were in the matter of weeks. And I guess they said it looked like it was just, both of them were, like my first instance of the 2 weeks apart, they were both like these big clots that when they hit my lungs, they just broke up and scattered, which she said that thankfully did that. That's why you're still alive, because if they wouldn't have broke up, you probably would have died. So anyway, so after my first account, having the 2 on each side, or the 1 on each side, I'm in the hospital, for like a week, and they got me on blood thinner, and, so I was on blood thinner for a couple years. They took tests, they couldn't find any blood disorder. They're like, we don't know why you had it, I don't know, so take me off the blood thinner. I was on it for like over 2 years of blood thinner. I go back to Colorado, take me off. And I was probably off the blood thinner for maybe not even a year, and I had another blood clot. And that's when I was working, actually, at DPDO. I was, yep, I was working, and I just had this pain again, and I recognized the pain, and I was actually with Randy, and I knew what it was. I'm like, Randy, I got another blood clot. And I had some blood thinner left over from when I was on it before. It was old, but I was like, okay, I knew it was the exact pain. I knew it was another blood clot. So I just took a couple of my old warfarin, which I probably shouldn't have done, and I waited because it was so late. We did work so late at that job. It was like we waited till 2 in the morning, so it was so late by the time we got done that I just said, I'm just going to wait till the next day to go to the hospital. I took these, all they're going to give me is, blood thinner and, well, they give you 2 different kinds of blood thinner. They give you heparin and warfarin. But I had the warfarin, so I just took the warfarin. I figured, I took 2, and I said, I'll just go the next day. So I went the next day to the hospital. Yep, sure enough, another blood clot. And this time it was really bad again. She said it was this big one that was in my aorta, or I don't know. The hematologist came and she freaked me out saying, you're in some serious, you're in a pretty critical condition. This is serious. Like, she just didn't have very good bedside manner. My heart was pounding. It was like, can you be a little bit more, not so scary? Like, I'm already scared, and she just freaked me out. So they were going to have to do this procedure. It was like a really risky procedure if they had a test to see if there's pressure on my heart because how big the blood clot was, and they were going to have to do this procedure on my heart if it was too much pressure, and it was really risky, but it came back. My heart was okay. They didn't have to do it, thank God. But for some reason, that old blood thinner was so strong that they couldn't figure it out because I only took 2, and my INR was 3.5 or something. And even the next couple days, without taking any, it was stayed at 3.5 for like 3 days. And they're like, we don't understand. Are you sure that's all you took? Like 2 warfarins should not have made your INR that high and stayed that high for like days. So I think it's because it was old and the bottle was in my car at one point in the hot car. So it made it like really strong. But anyway, sorry I rambled on, but yeah, you do have shortness of breath where you're like you can't catch your breath and it hurts when you breathe. See, I was in a lot of pain, but not everybody is in as much pain. I feel like there's just different, but everybody's different. Mine created my first one was actually more painful, I think, because for my second one I knew what it was, so I think that helped knowing that pain and you're familiar with it. But it was, yeah, it's very painful. You can't breathe that good. It hurts when you breathe in. So, yeah, I mean, and then you do have that burning in your chest too. So it does sound like the symptoms, but I'm sorry I rambled on. But I'm just saying I have some experience with this, with the blood clots. But I think maybe what if they gave them something that could cause the blood clots is what I'm saying. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I thought I would share this with you real quick. I'm going to add those documents so you can look at them. So just pause them, because I'm just going to put each one for a few seconds, and if you want to read it, just pause it, read it, and then hit play so you can get the next one. So, all right, guys, have a good day, everybody. Bye.